he said, of course. They came back, Dr. Curtis, do you know what they told the French king in 1345?
No, what did they tell him?
My liege, the stars are coming together in the heavens is the cause of the Black Plague. Now, millions and millions and millions and millions of people died. In 1899, in the Louis Pasteur Institute, Louis Pasteur was a PhD. Two of the physicians at that Louis Pasteur Institute found out the answer. It was only 550 years later that the rats were creating the disease. Now, sometimes the medical community is a little slow on the take, but thank God, after 550 years, the answer was there. Now, this is not just happening in the Black Plague with the medics or with spasmodic dysphonia. Spasmodic dysphonia is not cured by the medical community because they're on the wrong road, Dr. Curtis. And they don't want to discuss cures because cures present them with egg on their face and a disinclination on their part to confront reality.
Well, why is a cure of a condition that you discovered, a cure, a non-medical cure, considered a dirty word?
In the medical community, they're doing 4 to 10 Botox shots a year, anywhere between $1,000 to $4,000. Takes maybe 5 seconds or a minute or two, whatever it takes. And it's a lifetime annuity and a full-time employment. Why wouldn't the medical community support the medics? I don't understand why you would be so unkind to not understand that.
Well, here's the part of it, I think, that that people don't really get is that, okay, so that the person who is working for the drug company has suggested that you outed his personal medical information. He's complained in a public forum.
Yes.
It's called a chat room.
Yes.
And he said publicly that you outed his medical information.
Is that also said?
So don't you find that odd? Because the medical information that you knew about this gentleman, whose name is David Barton, by the way, and he is either an employee, which we don't really know, do we?
No.
Who writes the paycheck for him? It's either the National Spasmodic Dysphonia Association, or
which
it's
funds this association,
or it's
basically.
the group that funds it, which is the maker of Botox. Now, don't you find it amusing that the person who represents the drug maker is concerned about you and the treatment that you're providing, a non-medical, non-toxic treatment?
And not only is he concerned about the drug company, which he is representing, it's funded by Allergan, but the humor of this whole thing is the American Speech Hearing Language Association, which I'm a member of for years and years in good standing, maintains they guarantee there are no cures, as does the NSDA, National Spasmodic Dysphonic Association, as does Allergan. They guarantee there are no cures.
Well, why have they told you recently, in correspondence, that they have no official position on spasmodic dysphonia?
Dr. Curtis, you're the co-author of the book, Curing Hopeless Voices, an alternative, basically, to Botox. They maintain, if you ask that question again?
We want to find out why it is that the drug maker, Allergan, is committed to keeping you out of the field, basically. I mean,
they sell Botox.
So why can't two people exist? Why can't they have their people that choose Botox? Isn't choice an option for patients?
Not in my field, not in the American Speech and Hearing Association. They do not allow choice. That, I think, is where they're reprehensible. They know I report cures. I've reported cures of spasmodic dysphonia over a period of years. In 1970, I think it's in 1970, 1974, 1979, 1980, in the year 2000, as recently as that. But they are officially tied to the NSDA. On pages 111 to 117, we document the fact that the NSDA is the sole source of the official Spasmodic Dysphonic Association, or official spasmodic dysphonia position.
You're the
that
Asher
no
position
cures.
that you believe that the NSDA has influenced the American Hearing and Speech Association.
They are the only source I document in the book.
But why did they
influenced
deny
them in 1994, and they refer to the NSDA, and they refer to the Dystonia Medical Group, also funded by Allergan.
But why would the National Association, when you've inquired, deny that they have an official position on spasmodic dysphonia?
They have egg on their face. It doesn't look too good when I am tying up and documenting the fact that the NSDA is the sole source of the official position that ASHA has taken on its website, saying there are no cures of spasmodic dysphonia and Botox is a treatment of choice. It is a very interesting relationship. You're talking about a conspiracy reality. I use a question mark after it. They deny that.
Don't you think it's odd that the American Speech and Hearing Association would say that
Hearing Association
would not admit to having an official position, and yet the National Spasmodic Dysphonia Association says they have no position.
Yes,
and
they both maintain that.
They say that they do not favor one treatment over another. Is that your experience?
It's poppycock. They do. It's obvious in my experience. As far as I can tell, let me use the expression David Corcoran of the New York Times, the assistant editor of that section, said in regard to my inquiry about the quote on the front page, March 2nd, the year 2003, Sunday edition, New York Times, Botox is giving those with spastic vocal cords back their voices. He forgot to include the fact it's the Botox voice which you described, and it's a roller coaster ride. The issue is that we're facing a situation where there's a lot of lobbying going on, and there's a lot of misinformation that I'm finding that is laughable as to what's going on. That the American Speech Hearing Language Association is denying the possibility of a cure, which I've been reporting for years, and that they're denying that there are no cures when I'm reporting cures over the years is laughable to the extent that the American Speech Language Hearing Association, I believe, has mud on its face, and it's one of the premier organizations, if not the premier organizations, in speech communication and language communication and voice communication, and it's, in my experience, dominated by the National Spasmodic Dysphonic Association, which is funded by Allergan.
Well, it's interesting that
I don't see a conspiracy in reality. I see a cover-up.
You reported cures in a book called Curing Hopeless Voices.
Right, called Spasmodic Dysphonia.
And after you reported cures in that book, they've raised ethical concerns about reporting cures. Why is...
No, they haven't. They haven't raised it. They stay away from the issue of cures. They want to affect my career and my life on a different basis, that I do not represent the position that they may have. But they don't approach it on the basis of cures. They don't want to talk about cures. We know that.
But isn't the cures of spasmodic dysphonia the crux of why there's a difference between you and your national association?
It's not only that.
You differ with them
on
whether
totally.
the existence of cures.
Yes,
you
I'm
believe
the only
that
doctor in the world reporting
cures. But you
cures
believe that there are cures. You've seen them
I not
firsthand.
only believe it, I have peer review
you
in
have
1980.
experience.
Yes, there's no question about it. I documented this ongoing and so forth.
Even if somebody asks you to recant, you can't recant personally because you've seen them and witnessed them firsthand.
Yes, we have documented.
It would be intellectually dishonest. Would you admit that?
Yes.
If you were to recant on cures, because you've seen them firsthand. You've even had patients who were in fact cured by you on this very show demonstrating.
I've had them on national shows. I've had them on the Maury show, on the Sally show.